What up, everybody? Let's talk about some winter car safety. Now, some of you may live in the middle of nowhere, and this is going to be even more important to you than those who live in the city or those who live like Dominic and live down in Florida and you ain't got to worry about no real cold. But for the rest of us who live in the northern part of the country, you got to worry about cold, especially in the wintertime. One of the biggest things that will kill you is the cold, hypothermia, loss of body heat. Now, one of the easiest things that you can have is a heat source of some kind in your vehicle. Now, that being said, obviously, your car has a heater built into it. But what happens if you get stuck somewhere and you run out of gas? Because eventually that gas is going to run out. You need to have a way to have an alternative form of heating. And as the title says, a simple stove, alcohol stove in your vehicle can potentially save your life. Let's talk about it. What do you need? 3 simple things. Paint can, has to be a new one. Roll of toilet paper, can just be the cheap little 1-ply from the dollar store. And rubbing alcohol. This is where the magic happens here. Now, couple little caveats to get this going. If you have to use this in an emergency situation, the most important thing is that you have to have ventilation in that vehicle. You cannot have your windows rolled up all the way. You'll poison yourself. You'll eventually die from carbon monoxide, all that kind of stuff. Bad juju. So you need to crack your windows. You know, it doesn't have to be a ton, just has to be able to let in fresh air. All right, this is where it's easy to do this stove. Okay, as I said, take your paint can. Now, it does have the, you can't really see, kind of see. It does have the lining inside here. Now, normally you'd want to burn this out in other circumstances. But in this circumstance, a little bit of ickiness or dying. Take your pick. So I'm just going to leave this the way it is, just to make it easier on me. Now you get your roll of toilet paper. Obviously that doesn't work. So what you want to do is you're in a roll, you need to take it out. And that's pretty easy to do. Just kind of crumple it up a little bit. Dig your finger in there. Catch it with a nail. Work it out. Work it real good. Ugh. Tear it apart. Do whatever, because you're not going to keep it. Ah! There you go. Now, take it. Shove it in there. You may have to take some of it out, because don't know how big your roll of toilet paper is. Blah, blah, blah. You just kind of got to play with it until you get the right size. So let me play around with this. I'll bring it back in a second. All right, everybody. As you see, I got it shoved down in there. Now, in theory, you could dump your rubbing alcohol into here, put your lid on all the way down real tight, and in theory, the liquid should stay. For me, though, on the other hand, I'm not going to risk it, because if this gets knocked over and you risk it running out, you risk it evaporating, it's really not worth it. This right here is perfectly fine. This will not freeze. It's in a nice sealed container, so you don't have to worry about any of that. All you need to do, keep a book matches with it, and you have guaranteed heat, guaranteed flame right there. And that could simply save your life. Now, what I'm going to do is just a little demo on it, a much smaller version, because I don't want to waste it. And I'll show you how it works out. Let me drop the camera down. Anyways, take some toilet paper, gonna kind of tear it so it's kind of somewhat fits. into here the way it would in the regular one. All right. Okay. There's my analog for the paint can. All right. But obviously, take the lid off. You're going to saturate this. Now, in this scenario, it doesn't really matter how much you're putting in there because you want to stay warm. You want to live. All right. Got it going. Because I want to be a little fancy, I'm going to use this little ferro rod. Dominic made it a long time ago, and haven't used it in a long time. Here we go. Voila! And now you have heat. This little flame, I've done with alcohol stoves before. Alcohol will burn for a very long time. It's a very efficient fuel. Puts off a good amount of heat, just even this little bit right here. It's a little tiny thing. Plenty amount of heat. As you can see, it's just barely burning into the toilet paper in there. The alcohol is the primary fuel. The toilet paper is the medium for the alcohol. And as I said, these things last forever. And one thing I forgot to add is, again, this is the analog for the paint can. Just put your lid on there and it snuffs it out. Then you can reuse it, relight it back up once you warm up, or you can fill it up with more alcohol. Lots of different options there. All right, everybody, as you can see, these kind of stoves, they work really well. They can save your life. It could save somebody else's life. Something to have that's easy and safe to have stored in your vehicle during the winter. Okay, don't keep this stuff during the summertime because heat and alcohol don't normally work together. But anyways, this kind of little setup can save your life. Check into it. If you guys got questions, let me know. I'm going to do a couple more of these different little winter survival tip videos and stuff like that. I'll talk to you guys here on the next one.